flux is maximum. Similarly, when theta is equal to 90 degree, the magnetic flux is 0. Okay, so this was regarding the magnetic flux. So next, coming to this Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So the first law says that whenever the magnetic flux through a circuit changes, an EMF is induced in it. Okay, the induced EMF lasts as long as there is a change in magnetic flux continues. That means that due to the change in magnetic flux, as we know that there will be a induced current or induced EMF in a loop, right? Closed coil. So this EMF lasts until there is a change in magnetic flux. Once the change in magnetic flux stops, so the current or the EMF in the coil will be nothing but equal to 0. That is the meaning of that first law. Coming to the second law, it says that the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the circuit. Okay, so it means it says that the induced EMF, okay, the induced EMF which is present in the coil, okay, the induced EMF in the coil is directly proportional to the change in magnetic flux. If the change in magnetic flux is more, so the induced EMF or the induced current will be more. Okay, hence it is directly proportional. So in the mathematical way, we also discussed that if the magnetic flux linking the loop changes from phi1 to phi2 in a time interval of t, so hence the rate of change of magnetic flux can be written as phi2 minus phi1 divided by t, right? So hence according to Faraday's law, we know that E is proportional to phi2 minus phi1 divided by t according to second law, right? So hence, since it is a proportionality, replacing that one by with a constant, you can write E is equal to k into phi2 minus phi1 divided by t, where k is a constant of proportionality, where it units is nothing but the value of k is nothing but equal to 1. Okay, so next, therefore finally you can write, since k is equal to 1, E is equal to phi2 minus phi1 divided by t, or else it can be written as E is equal to minus d phi divided by dt. Okay, so that negative sign denotes that the induced EMF always opposes the change in magnetic flux. Okay, so this was regarding the Faraday's second law. Okay, suppose if we consider that there are n number of turns, okay, so the same equation can be written as E is equal to minus n into d phi divided by dt. Okay, next, coming to this Lenz law. Lenz law is nothing but, as we know that it is according to the law of conservation. Okay, it is accordance with the law of conservation. As we know that when you take a loop, okay, when you take a coil and when you take a bar magnet, so that when you are moving the bar magnet towards the coil, where the north pole is headed towards the coil, okay, so what happens, the induced EMF, okay, the EMF induced in the coil will have a direction of anti-clockwise. Okay, so that it acquires a polarity of north pole. Okay, so hence what happened, it always opposes uh, the motion of the bar magnet. Okay, since the bar magnet you are moving towards the coil, so what happened, it opposes that. Okay, it tries to stop that. Okay, so that is regarding the first case. And the second case is nothing but when you move that bar magnet away from the coil. Okay, what happens, the current induced in the coil will be in the form of clockwise direction. The direction of induced current in the coil will be in a clockwise direction, so that what happens, the coil acquires a phase of south pole. Okay, so that it experiences, I mean it exerts a force of attraction. Okay, when you are taking away that bar magnet away from the coil, it exerts a force of attraction. So hence in both the case, you need to do some amount of work done in order to overcome that force of repulsion and to overcome that force of attraction. Okay, so that work, whatever you are doing, will be converted into the electric energy and appears as the induced EMF. Okay, so hence this is called as the Lenz law. Okay, Lenz's law is in accordance with the conservation of energy. Okay, so the statement of Lenz's law, it is clear that it says that the polarity of the induced EMF is such that it tends to produce a current which opposes the change in magnetic flux. So always the change in magnetic flux, that is the EMF induced in the coil always opposes the change in magnetic flux. Okay, so that is regarding the statement of Lenz's law, and it is regarding the conservation, Lenz's law, and energy conservation. Okay, so next coming to this motional EMF. So this is important derivation. Okay, even in your examination they ask this question for 5 marks. Okay, let me explain about that. Just I'll read out that theory part. Later I'll explain. Consider a long straight conductor PQ of length L placed in a uniform magnetic field B such that the direction of B is perpendicular to the length of the conductor and perpendicular to the plane of the figure. The conductor is moved with a velocity v in a direction perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, so see here, if you just go through the figure, you have a long straight conductor of length PQ. Okay, you have two ends, that is one end of the rod is denoted by P and the another end of the rod is denoted by Q, and the length of the rod is nothing but L. Okay, which is placed in a magnetic field such that magnetic field is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field is perpendicular to the length of the conductor. Okay, so you can see there the magnetic field direction has been given in the form of cross, right? What does that cross denotes? The magnetic field is directed towards the paper. Okay, and hence the length of the conductor is obviously perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field, right? So next they have said that the conductor is moved with a velocity v in a direction perpendicular to the magnetic field. So in the figure you can see there, just we are going to move that conductor in the left side, towards the left side. Okay, so that it is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. So next it says that let the conductor move from PQ to P dash Q dash through a small distance dx in a small time interval dt. Okay, so you can see here the conductor PQ has been moved from PQ to, or you can consider that P and Q as the reference point. Okay, let us say that the rod which is of which has the length L. Okay, it is placed at PQ. Okay, PQ is a reference point, let us take like that. So when you move that rod from PQ to P dash Q dash, okay, so it travels a distance of dx, right? It travels a distance of dx. Let us say that it has traveled a distance of dx in a time interval of dt. Okay, so next the area covered by the conductor is nothing but it is ds is equal to L dx. Okay, so the area covered by the conductor is nothing but that can be written as ds is equal to L dx. Okay, so next the change in magnetic flux across the conductor is, so change in magnetic flux is nothing but it is taken as d phi. D phi is equal to bds. Okay, instead of that equation I think the magnetic flux we have written as phi is equal to b vector b dot vector ba, right? That is nothing but equal to bds. So similarly here B represents the magnetic field and ds represents the area, right? In the same way this BL dx also, or this BL ds, sorry BDS. So B is nothing but magnetic field and ds is nothing but the, what is that ds? Ds is nothing but the area. Okay, so hence the magnetic field d phi can be written as d phi is equal to BDS, that BDS is equal to BL dx. Substituting the value of ds as L dx, we have written BL dx. Next, the magnitude of the EMF induced in the conductor is, the magnitude of EMF induced in the conductor can be written as according to the second law of Faraday's law, that is E is equal to d phi by dt. Okay, E is equal to d phi by dt. Just you can see there, I said that I am taking the magnitude of the induced EMF. So according to the second law of Faraday's law, you know that E should be equal to minus d phi by dt. Okay, since I am taking the magnitude, so it will be plus here. So E is equal to d phi by dt is equal to, substituting the value of d phi as BL dx divided by dt. So it comes out to be as BLB. Okay, where dx by dt is nothing but it is a velocity, rate of change of displacement with time is nothing but equal to velocity, right? So hence we have replaced the dx by dt by v. So hence E will be nothing but equal to BLV. Okay, so this expression for EMF induced in the conductor moving in the magnetic field is true only if the magnetic field is uniform and does not change with time. Okay, so it is said that this expression is only valid for a uniform magnetic field. Okay, for a only uniform magnetic field, it is not valid for a magnetic field which is varying with respect to time. Okay, so this is regarding the expression. Okay, so next, regarding energy consideration in motional EMF. Okay, so we are just dealing with this energy consideration. Okay, let us see what is that. When a straight conductor PQ of length L is moved with a velocity v in a direction perpendicular to the magnetic field, the motional EMF produced in the conductor is E is equal to BLV. As we know that we are moving a conductor in a perpendicular direction, okay, which has the, that conductor has the length of L moving with a velocity v in a direction perpendicular to the magnetic field. So the EMF produced is nothing but, as we know that it is BLV, correct? So next, let us say that if R be the internal, if R be the resistance of the conductor and the two ends of the conductor be connected externally by a wire of negligible resistance, then the current through the conductor is, so as you know that if you take R as the resistance of the conductor, okay, if you take the R as the resistance of the conductor, and where you are going to connect, okay, where you are going to connect this conductor externally, okay, where you are going to connect these two ends of the conductor to a circuit. Okay, let us say that you are connecting both the ends of the conductor to some circuit. Okay, so what happens, the current through the conductor is nothing but it is written as I is equal to E divided by R. Okay, I is equal to E divided by R. So that is nothing but equal to BLV divided by R. I think this I is equal to E by R we have come across in the chapter current electricity, right? So I is equal to E by R. So the same thing we have taken. So the value of E we have substituted, that is BLV divided by R. So next, the force on the conductor PQ moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. As we know that when the conductor is moving perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, it experiences the maximum force, right? So let us see what is the value of that force. Okay, so F is equal to BIL sin theta. This is the formula, right? F is equal to BIL sin theta. So this is the formula, right, for a force experienced by a conductor when it is placed in a magnetic field. So the value of sin theta comes out to be as 90 degree here. So hence sin 90 is nothing but equal to 1. So F will be equal to BIL. Okay. So substituting the value here, okay, substituting the value of I as BLV divided by R, you are going to get the value of F as B square L square V divided by R. Okay, this is the force experienced by a conductor when it is moving perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Okay, so next, the direction of this force is opposite to the velocity of the conductor. The power required to push the conductor against the force is, see, as you know that when this conductor is moving in the presence of magnetic field, what happens, there is a change of magnetic flux linking this conductor. Okay, so due to that what happens, there will be an induced EMF. Okay, there will be an induced EMF in this conductor, so that as we know that according to Lenz's law, this induced EMF, okay, always opposes the change in the magnetic flux, right? So hence what this induced EMF does is it opposes the motion of this conductor. So hence what we need to do is, in order to move this conductor, we need to apply some force, okay, or we need to do some work, okay, that is denoted by, that is expressed as the power required to push the conductor against this force, okay. That is nothing but the power required to move this conductor against the force is given by P is equal to F into V, okay. So substituting the value of F, you are going to get P as B square L square V divided by R into V. So that is nothing but equal to B square L square V square divided by R. Okay. So as the conductor is pushed mechanically, the mechanical energy dissipated per second. Okay. So as you know that when we are moving the conductor mechanically, there is some amount of energy dissipation. Okay. So that dissipation is given by P is equal to I square R. That is nothing but equal to, if you substitute the value, BLV divided by R whole square is equal to BLV divided by R whole square into R is equal to B square L square V square divided by R. So this is the same as the power required to push the conductor. Okay. So this is regarding the energy consideration in the motional EMF. Okay. So do one thing, just go through about this derivation. In case if you have any doubts regarding this derivation, okay, please do ask. So in case if you have any doubts regarding this motional EMF, please do ask. It's a 5 marks question. Okay, fine students, any doubts regarding this derivation? Okay, fine. So see you next regarding this eddy currents. Okay. So this eddy current definition will be asked for 1 marks. Okay. So what is eddy currents is the question. Okay. So let us see what is this eddy current. The induced circulating currents produced in a conductor itself due to change in magnetic flux linked with the conductor are called eddy currents. Okay. So these are the induced circulating currents. Okay. It is nothing but a same as that of induced current itself, but it will be in the form of circulating. Okay. It will be a circulating induced current produced in a conductor itself due to the change in magnetic flux linked with the conductor. So this is called as the eddy current, and this current was discovered by Foucault. Okay, Foucault in the year 1895. So they are also known as Foucault currents. Okay, and the direction of eddy current is given by Lenz law. Okay, so as same thing as what Lenz law says about that induced EMF. Okay, so next let us see. You have an experiment to demonstrate eddy currents. Okay, so just I'll go through about the theory part. A flat metallic plate or a bar pendulum is suspended between the pole pieces N and S of an electromagnet, that is north and south pole of an electromagnet. It is allowed to come to rest with its perpendicular to the magnetic field. When the magnetic field is off, the metallic plate is allowed to oscillate. It is found to oscillate for long time. However, when the electromagnet is switched on and the plate is set into oscillations, it is found that plate stops oscillating and comes to rest quickly. Okay, so you can see in the figure. Okay, two you have a magnet which is having a north pole and the south pole. Okay, so in between we have a pendulum. Okay, so in between you have a pendulum. Okay, but that is bar pendulum is made to oscillate between this electromagnet. Okay, so as you know that the magnetic field is directed from north pole to south pole, right? So in between that place, okay, in between the magnets, this bar pendulum is made to oscillate. Okay, so it is observed that before the electromagnet is switch on. Okay, that is I am talking in the case where the electromagnet is switch off. Okay, in the absence of magnetic field I am speaking. So in the absence of magnetic field, when you make this bar magnet to oscillate, okay, sorry, when this bar pendulum to oscillate, so it is found that this bar pendulum oscillates for a longer time. Okay, the same in the same thing, when you make this bar pendulum to oscillate in the presence of magnetic field, what happens? This bar pendulum oscillates for a few minutes and it stops. Okay, so it oscillates for a smaller time compared to the previous case what we have discussed, that is it oscillates for a longer time in the absence of magnetic field. Okay, so let us see why is that. So I'll just read out the second paragraph. When the electromagnet is switched on, the plate oscillates in a strong magnetic field due to the continuous change of magnetic flux linked with the plate. Eddy currents are set up in the body of the metal plate. Since the eddy currents are set up due to the oscillations of the metal plate, the eddy currents tend to oppose the motion of the metal plate and finally bring it to rest. The kind of opposition offered by the eddy currents to the motion of a system is called electromagnetic damping. Okay, see you. These eddy currents are what? It is nothing but it is a induced EMF, right? So when you make this bar pendulum to oscillate in the presence of magnetic field, what happens? The magnetic flux linked with that bar pendulum keeps on changing since it is oscillating, right? So what happens due to that magnetic flux linked with the bar pendulum keeps on changing with respect to time, there will be an induced EMF present. Okay, there will be an induced EMF. So that induced EMF, what does is it opposes the change of magnetic flux, right? Hence it always tries to stop that bar pendulum to, it tries to stop. Okay, so that induced EMF always tries to stop the bar pendulum. Okay, so hence this kind of opposition offered by the eddy currents. Okay, so this kind of opposition offered by the eddy currents to the motion of a system is called as electromagnetic damping, we call. Okay, we call that one as the electromagnetic damping. And in the next paragraph you have a thing. They said that in the above experiment, if the metal plate has holes or slots, it reduces the area available for eddy currents. Hence, the electromagnetic damping is reduced and the plate oscillates more freely. Okay, so see first of all, what they have done is you have a electromagnet, right? So this bar pendulum, okay, is made to oscillate in the presence of magnetic field. Okay, so what happens is when you make this bar pendulum to oscillate in the presence of magnetic field, it oscillates for a short interval of time. But when you make this bar pendulum to oscillate in the absence of electromagnet, what happens? This bar pendulum oscillates for a longer time. Okay, so if you ask why is that, as you know that as the bar pendulum, okay, keeps on oscillating, what happens? There will be a change of magnetic flux linked with the bar pendulum. So due to that, what happens? There will be a presence of eddy current. Okay, so that is induced current. So always you know that the induced current always opposes the change of magnetic flux, right? So hence this eddy current which is present, which is induced in the bar pendulum, always tries to stop the pendulum. Okay, so it is said in the next case that if that pendulum, okay, if that pendulum which is attached with a metal plate, if it is as a holes, okay, holes or a slots, you can just see in the figure, just I highlighted that. Okay, so it is like this. Okay, so if this is the some slots or some holes are done, what happens? The change in magnetic flux linked with this pendulum, okay, what happens? It decreases, right? So since you have holes or some slots, let us consider that there is a holes. Okay, if there are more holes, what happens? The magnetic flux linked with the pendulum decreases, so that what happens? The induced EMF or the eddy currents present in the pendulum also reduces, so that what happens? The pendulum oscillates for a longer time. Okay, so that is the meaning of that. Okay, and the opposition offered by the eddy current to the motion of the system is called as the electromagnetic damping, we call. Okay, in the next case you have the application of eddy currents, that is which will be asked for 1 or 2 marks. Okay, no need of explaining each and everything. What do you mean by this electromagnetic damping, induction furnace, magnetic brakes? No need of explanation. Okay, they just only ask write any two applications of eddy current. In that, in out of 6 you need to write any two. The first one is electromagnetic damping, second one is induction furnace, third one is magnetic brakes, fourth is induction motor, fifth is speedometer, sixth is energy meters. Okay, these are some of the applications of eddy currents. Okay, so next coming to this disadvantages of these eddy currents is nothing but the production of eddy currents in a metallic block leads to the loss of energy, electric energy in the form of heat. So whenever these eddy currents are present in a metallic blocks, what happens is there is a loss of energy which will be dissipated in the form of heat. Okay, that is the first disadvantage. And the second one is nothing but the heat produced due to eddy currents breaks the insulation used in the electrical machines. So due to heating, what happens? The insulation breaks. So next, eddy currents may cause unwanted damping. Okay, so eddy currents may cause unwanted damping. Okay, so these are some of the disadvantages of this eddy currents. Okay, so do one thing, just go through about this eddy currents once. Okay, in case if you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, fine. Any doubts, students, regarding the eddy currents? In case if you have any doubts, please do ask. So as I said, the eddy currents, define eddy currents is a 1 mark question, or what is eddy current, 1 mark question, and the application of eddy current will be asked for 2 marks. Okay. Similarly, they may ask about this disadvantages of eddy currents also. Okay, even for 2 marks. So with this thing, I'm just concluding today's class. Okay, thank you, students.